Hello everybody, welcome to Season 2 of the LaunchPad series. We're recording this live at the Worldwide Partner Conference in Orlando, Florida, where we have over 10,000 plus partner attendees, including John Peluso from AvePoint. Thank you for joining us.
Right.
And tons of energy here. Today is day two.
Day two.
And what I learned is that partners are just really excited about sharing ideas, learning new tools and technologies, how to build up powerful ISV solutions on a Microsoft stack. So really glad to have you here, because I know you've been a staunch advocate of SharePoint and leveraging Azure as well for your meeting solutions. So let's jump right into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right.
So first thing I'll do is let me just introduce you to AvePoint, some basic information. I'll talk to you a little bit about why we built this product. And then I'll talk to the specifics of the product. We'll take a look in a demo.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
This is the tech show, so we
definitely
look forward to a lot of demos.
All right,
yeah.
so AvePoint is an ISV. We started in 2001 developing infrastructure management solutions for SharePoint, so backup, archiving, permissions management, things like that. As time went on, we started to branch out into governance and compliance solutions. And recently, with all of the services and capabilities that Microsoft's building in their cloud service, we thought it was a great opportunity to get into the productivity business as well.
Right.
So that's what this is. So what are the problems that we're trying to solve with this meetings application? First off, the idea that the meeting planner doesn't necessarily know all of the topics that they need to cover in that meeting. So what we're going to do is have a centralized place to allow the participants of the meeting to add agenda items, view agenda items, potentially load some information up there for people to take a look at beforehand.
Right.
Through the meeting, everybody's going to be able to add notes. Right, so we're collecting what everybody thought happened at the meeting, and at the end of the meeting, we're going to be able to export those notes, export them into a OneNote, export them into a SharePoint site, and really, what we'll then have is better meetings, better planning, better collaboration during the meeting, and lots of historical information about what happened during that meeting.
And I can speak for a lot of my scenarios working with multiple teams, sometimes even across different time zones, maybe from different disciplines. Yeah, sometimes the meeting planner or host may not know everything about the details or attachment.
Yeah, and that's the idea, to have the meeting be about the meeting, not be planning the meeting while you're in the meeting.
And is it true that sometimes I think historical archiving is also important too?
It's a big driver. It's one of the big drivers. We find that companies initially come to this solution because they do want a centralized place for regulatory reasons to store those meeting agendas and the meeting results. But once they're in this solution, they like the productivity and the collaboration during the meeting itself.
Right. Great. Yeah. Great. Well, let's jump right to the demo.
Jump into a demo. Sure. Let's do it. So let's start with where we normally start in a meeting, and that is planning the meeting. So there's a few different ways that you can go about creating a meeting. And the meeting itself, the meetings application, is a SharePoint app. Works on premises, works in SharePoint Online.
Right.
And once we enable it, we then have the ability to, from an Outlook client or directly through the SharePoint app itself, I can come in here, a normal meeting invite. I'm going to invite Julie and Sham to this meeting. And I can enable meetings. And what that does is it's going to put a link into this email that goes directly to the meeting site.
And this is a SharePoint plugin or add-in?
Yep. So we've got both the older style plugins for Outlook as well as a newer Outlook add-in.
Correct. That's right. And this required a SharePoint 2013, the latest version?
SharePoint 2013 or SharePoint Online.
Okay.
Will work. Yeah.
All right.
And then I'm just going to go ahead and send out the invite. And you can see what's going to happen here is it's going out and it's creating that meeting in the AvePoint Meetings application. So if we actually skip out there, this is the site that that Meetings app is actually hosted on. And if I go to this Meetings application site, what you'll see is I've actually got one meeting that I had previously set up, but then here was the one that we just created, the budget planning meeting. And so we can see all the information about who's there and what's going on and all that kind of stuff. This is the meeting that we're going to actually jump into now. And so, as I mentioned, Sham and Julie are two people that work on my team in here. And so we're going to see what Sham's experience is when he comes into this meeting. So as the organizer of the meeting, I can simply access through that link we looked at, or I can access through this interface here. And we've got some pretty cool tools in here to allow us to do a lot of tracking at the meeting level, but also down at the granular level of individual agenda items and things like that. So you can see I've got an agenda that I've planned out as the meeting organizer.
Yeah.
I've got 3 main topics that we're going to discuss, and this is going to be an hour-long meeting. You can see we do have some extra time because I'm able
10
to
minutes
set
for any other additional.
the slush fund call
Yep.
for meetings, right?
Yep.
But I also know that other people may have topics they want to cover that I don't yet know about, right?
Right,
So
right.
that's what's going on. And you can see at the meeting level, I've got importance metadata, so I know how important the meeting is. I've got sort of relevance metadata. Who is this relevant to? Customers or internal people, just my
Right,
department,
right.
company as a whole. And those are just metadata values that I had set up, and I could do that very easily by just going ahead into my metadata manager and creating those. Interestingly, we can even use the corporate taxonomy from the Managed Metadata Service in SharePoint. So if you already have a metadata
It will snap right to that.
taxonomy, it'll go right to it. Yep.
And the application is if you want to look for later on all the external meetings.
got it.
You can look through that.
You got
through
it.
your-
We'll look
your
at that
search
when we
pane.
get to the
Got
closeout
it.
of the meeting.
Okay.
Yep. So I've planned out my agendas here. You can see I've got some titles of my agendas. I've also uploaded some documentation for us to look at. So let's
Right.
actually go look at what Sham sees when he comes into the meeting.
Okay.
So I'm going to go to his Outlook calendar. And this is the meeting that we're looking at right now, this weekly marketing update. So when he accesses this calendar item, just the same way he always does, right, from Outlook,
Yeah.
He'll just click the link, and he will go himself to the same page that, that the organizer's on. And the idea here is that Sham might know that we've got to talk about a competitor. Right? He's heard about a competitor, and some things have come up.
Right.
So he's actually going to be able to add his own agenda.
Got it.
Right, so he'll add the agenda item. If he wants to, he can tag that agenda item using those metadata values. Let's say that this is very sensitive,
Highly sensitive
and also
but
very
compete,
important. Yep.
Right.
He could put a timer on it. He could say this is going to be about a 5-minute thing. Right, I just got to let everybody know about this. So this is going to take 5 minutes. And now, if we come back over to John's interface, this is part of the joy of this. Is as soon as I refresh this page, and that'll happen automatically. The page will refresh
Right.
itself automatically. But that new agenda item's already on there.
Right.
So-
and in this case, the meeting organizer will be also alerted with an email, or
Not to
Yeah.
the level of the agenda. We
Okay.
don't want to bug them about every single agenda item that
Right.
gets added.
Right.
But the
if
meeting
the organizer
organizer
goes back to the site,
they'll
will
always see it. Yep,
Right.
they'll always
right.
see it. Yep. So as the meeting's going on, the idea would be that we would start this timer, right? So we're going
Right.
to talk about this. Oh, by the way, Julie didn't make it, right? So I'm going to mark her as absent, but
Okay.
Sham is present,
Got it.
right?
And that will roll into the agenda wrap up.
The reporting later
For the
will
attendance?
be a historical
Perfect.
record of who
Very
was
cool.
here and who wasn't,
Very cool.
right? Also, you're inviting people to meetings. It's good to know who's going to be there, right? So you can see
Right.
their
You can
face.
see their face. the
So we go
photos.
on here, and at some point in time, I would probably go ahead and add an action, and I'd say that, all right, based off of what we just talked about, I've got to get Julie working on doing something, right? So I'm going to give Julie an assignment, right? And this thing is, I'll describe in here what her assignment is, set the due date, right? The start date, the due date, and we'll go ahead and make sure that this is actually assigned to Julie,
Yeah.
right? And when we do that, what this will do is that'll actually create a task for Julie in her SharePoint task list.
Right.
So basically, I'm now not only documenting what happened, I'm actually also able to then make sure that that work gets done if I follow those task lists.
So in essence, it's not just a sort of a workflow management with during the meeting, actually before the meeting for
Got it.
organizing it during the meeting, but also post-meeting follow-up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Very cool.
one of the things that we're always looking for in a meeting is a decision.
Yeah.
Right? So
that's
a
right.
record of what we actually decided. And
Right.
so, again, I can put a decision in there. Julie will update on progress next week. Okay. And that's good. Notice I can have a proposed and a seconded. So John was the person that proposed that one. And then it was seconded by Sham. And so now we're good, right?
Right,
We have a
right.
decision logged.
Yeah.
So all this activity is happening throughout the meeting, And if we go back and again, just take a look at Shyam's sort of screen, notice I haven't touched anything, but he's got the updates, the decisions,
the decision
all of that
and the
information is
action
already
item
there,
for Julie to follow.
So the whole idea is that, you know, in certain cases, people may want to have this very collaborative meeting where there's a lot of participants that are all actively documenting.
Right.
We've also seen other scenarios, though, where a company will have a scribe, right, and that scribe will do the majority of the work within this application.
Excellent, excellent. So this is amazing demo here. I think I wish everybody would get a chance to do this, use it more methodically. What's next for you guys? Like, what have you heard at a WPC partner conference this week that may, you know, offer you some good ideas for future releases? Yeah,
absolutely. So we definitely want to get into things like integrating into OneNote. We know people love taking their notes in OneNote.
Yep.
And the OneNote team's doing a great job opening up APIs and educating everybody on what's possible there. So we're in talks with that team. That's one of the things. And then the other one is more of a full experience app for Outlook, where we don't potentially even have to leave the Outlook interface to do all that work.
Right.
That would be ideal. Again, just trying to capitalize on a lot of the work that's being done out there in the service.
Okay, excellent. So let's switch back to the slide and share with the audience where they can get access to this app and more.
So as I mentioned, this app will work against Office 365. It'll also work in SharePoint on premises.
Right.
So what you can do is you can just go and download the application today.
And this will be through the Office App Store?
Through the Office App Store,
Got it.
if you're in SharePoint Online. If you're in SharePoint On-Prem, we have a request through our website where you can get the on-prem bits to do the install.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming along.
It's a pleasure.
And by the way, I want to congratulate you for winning one of the WPC awards this year.
Yeah.
So
content collaboration.
Great.
Very
awesome.
proud of it. Yep.
Awesome. And look forward to seeing you again next time.
Sounds good.
All right. With that, here's another episode of LaunchPad series showing powerful ISV solutions. And don't forget to go back to aka.ms/launchpad for more. Until next time, have a good one.